started. So we have Laura Simmons Martinez here today, and she's going to present on the assistive technology. So as you guys know, this year we've used our community of practices to share resources from other parent centers. So Laura's here today to present her assistive technology presentation, and she's also going to share some other cool resources that are coming out of TASC. So without further ado, Laura, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You know what I'm going to do to make it easier? I'm going to share not the one that I sent you, but the one that has all our info in it so that you guys can get the cool resources. Oh my gosh. Okay. Blank screen, yay. All right, can everybody see that? I hope.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I don't know how much everyone knows, but we at TASC have an assistive technology center, and we present an assistive technology department, and we present dozens of different webinars on assistive technology, and they're very popular. And some more than others. This is our introduction, like our kind of beginner or intro to AT. So I just wanted to share with you guys. I did send it out, and we had to create the speaker notes because we don't use speaker notes. So we tried to go through and thought, okay, what do we typically say? So I'm also going to include a link for you to our YouTube channel, so you can actually watch any of the presentations you want, but this one in particular, just so you could kind of see the flow. So we typically, I wanted to escape, but I guess I can't. We typically go, do our introductions and introduce ourselves. And then that's just our, our task info. So I'm just gonna go through that. Talk about our tech services. And then for me, you can always contact me by email. It's usually the best way. laurasm@taskca.org. I'm sure it was in the invite that got sent out. But and then our assistive technology specialist, Liz, is just dynamite. She's just wonderful. So this is the one I was telling you about. It's called Tech Tidbits. I'm trying to escape so I can. This will take you to our website, and then if you scroll to the bottom, it'll say Join Tech Tidbits, but I'll put it in the chat so you can just click on it if you want. And what it is, it's our monthly newsletter that goes out, and I just talk about different types of technology that I found that I think is helpful. I try to focus on free resources, at least a few free resources. And then we talk about our upcoming trainings and things that are going on. And then I wanted to escape. So I did put speaker notes for everyone that you could go through. So I'm not sure, you guys, you just want me to flip through it and kind of just show you. So we just start with what's assistive technology. And these are just different pictures of things: communication app, switch, calculator, visual timer, just different types. And we'll get into all of these. So of course, the definition of assistive technology device. In the IDEA, this is just the definition and the code. And you'll see later that we talk about both the device and services. and that the definition of AT is very broad. So even though IDEA uses the term device, assistive technology can be anything that can assist someone, a student with a disability. So it can be hardware, software, apps. It could be, I'll show you different kinds of adapted pens, pencils, forks, spoons. I mean, there's all kinds of things that fall under that umbrella. So just some things. So this is one of my favorite slides. So I just wanted to go through that one, if that's okay, because I think it's really important to understand. A lot of people, when they hear assistive technology, they think of great big devices, or they think of things that only apply to their situation, their child, or certain things. So over the years, when I've trained different, even professionals, an occupational therapist is going to think of OT type assistive technology, and a speech language pathologist is going to think of speaking technology. Does that make sense? That kind of stuff. So under this umbrella of assistive technology, we have different categories. So physical, these can be aids for daily living, which I'll show you. Maybe something that helps you button your clothes, or an adapted spoon or fork. It can include access to a computer or a tablet. You know, maybe you can't use a regular keyboard or mouse and you need another way to access it. Also mobility and seating. And then under educational learning aids, this is probably 85% of what we work with when we work with students. Low-tech supports, I'm going to show you a bunch. Handheld devices like calculators, things like that. And then specialized software and applications. At Task, we have over 3,300 specialized applications. So when you're talking about AT for hearing impairments, or there are usually 3 categories: closed captioning, telecommunications, and assistive listening devices. And we'll talk more about that as well. And I wrote this all out. So, and then under vision, we have low-tech supports, software and apps, and then of course, Braille devices. And then finally, we have communication, or augmentative alternative communication. And that can include simple things like picture boards, talking photo albums, speech generating devices, and then finally iPads and tablets with AAC apps. So this is probably the most complicated slide, but this kind of really explains that there's so many things out there. And then the other thing is that assistive technology is a continuum. So there are low tech or light tech, you can use that term, items, things like pencils, you know, pencil grips, raised line paper, you know, adaptive eating utensils. Mid-tech usually are battery operated items. And then higher tech are usually a computer, an environmental control device. I have to say it quietly, like Alexa, or mine will start talking. Augmentative communication devices, things like that. So what I did was I put different items in the PowerPoint, and I just want you to see that you can just hit enter and different ones will pop up. So I'm just hitting enter, and you can talk about as much or little as you want. So I would probably say something like there's all kinds of pencil grips. And what they do is help with that pincer grasp so that someone can write correctly. And there's all different shapes and sizes. Some have texture, some are squishy, some are like, these are kind of spiky. They have that sensory feedback. Excuse me. So you can just kind of hit enter and go through the different pencil grips. So there's triangular. And what I usually suggest for something as simple as like a pencil grip is try different types. to see what might work. So, and then there's magnifying bars. Again, you're just gonna click through. And what they do is highlight the word you're reading and also magnify it. Different reading helpers. This is a slide reader. And what it does is isolates one line at a time, and you pull this little cardboard and you can reveal one word at a time. So that's really nice for someone who's, you ever try when you're reading and you accidentally skip a line up or skip a line down, that type of a thing. And there's all different colors. Some people can see through a color other than white. Like myself, if I look at white paper, the letters move. So sometimes things like this will help. It just depends on the student. So I'm going to flip through. There's special scissors. I'm going to go at breakneck speed, but there's different pens and pencils that help. This one's my favorite. It's called Twist and Write. It's an ergonomic pencil, and then the little sides here are erasers. This is a fidget. These are fidget pencils. These are great for someone who needs movement, who needs to keep their fingers busy. And then these, once the pencil's all the way sharpened, these can pop off and go onto another pencil. Smensels, these have the olfactory, the good smells. This is a weight that you can put on a pencil. I would put the weight down further, but it depends on the user. It looks like this one has a grip as well. And that's an idea on how to make your own. So different types of pens and pencils. These are different low-tech examples of things that help you with writing. I would probably go into more, but I know we don't have enough time. Adapted books, sometimes little kids or someone with fine motor trouble. It's so hard sometimes, especially for little kids, to get their finger in the page and turn the page. So these are simply just what we call page fluffers. Those are just round sponges. And so they create a gap in the page so that you can get your finger in there to turn the page. And we do a whole workshop on different types of adaptations, but these are just different ways that we've adapted books. So specialized paper, there's all kinds of different paper out there that can be useful for specific students. Sometimes, you know, I've had kiddos come in where an entire, you know, one math problem takes the whole page because that's their, you know, that's just where they are. So some of these help with just writing one letter or one number per box. The thing with specialized paper is it tends to be expensive. So I put in some links for free downloadable writing paper. And then after each section, so this is where you would find your reading, writing tools and specialized scissors. So there's resources in there for you, and they're all clickable direct to the vendor. So this is LowTech Fidgets and different sensory items. I would probably talk about certain ones, but I know we're limited on time. This is Crazy Aaron's Thinking Putty. It's nice because you can use it in the warmth of your hands, turns it different colors, depending on which one you get. This is a Tangle toy, different kinds of fidgets. I do want to point this out. This is an exercise disc that you blow up with like a bicycle pump. But what's nice is if you have a kiddo that's real wiggly or an adult, I have one, you blow it up however feels good to you and put it in your seat, and then you get that sensory feedback when you're moving. Again, here's resources for chewy items and fidgets. Software and applications. There are so many things out there, but I want people to know that they work well for people with learning, physical, visual impairments. The bulk of folks that we see are on the spectrum, but we see, you know, different things. So there are software and apps, mostly people are into apps, that work on all different things, from reading to social skills to life skills, math. So I included a few apps that have demo videos. And so I won't show the whole thing, but I did want to tell you, I was telling Cheryl and Cece before that, do any of you use, when you're doing presentations, do you link to a video from YouTube? Or put videos in any of your PowerPoints?
I see some heads nodding.
Okay, so I use the Google Chrome as my browser. And what was happening was when I was clicking on, mind you, I have like 20 different trainings. When I was clicking on my links, I was coming up getting an error message on every single one of them when they did the update to Chrome. So we found a workaround that I wanted to show you in case you have this issue. So I'm going to click on the link. Just kidding. Okay.
Low vision.
Okay. So there's two things that you can do if you're having issue with your videos not popping up correctly. You can use something called YouTube Trimmer. You can just go to youtubetrimmer.com, pop that URL in, click the button, it'll give you a new link. And the new link will bring you direct to the video. Direct to the video, no commercial.
Blind or dyslexic? Access your favorite libraries with the free Easy Reader app. Browse for a new bestseller or search for an old favorite.
The July sky cloudless.
Change the text size, pick a color, add a highlight, or tweak this feature.
Okay, the whole video's in there, but that's one way. The other way is if you go to, sorry, that's my app that tells me to get up and move. If you go to YouTube and the video doesn't work, let's see if I have another one in here. So this is about the Dolphin Reader app. This is SnapType, which is another app. And then ModMouth, it's here. If you go to a YouTube, oops, I can type. If you go to a link, and that link doesn't work for whatever reason, up here in your in the bar, if you go between the T and the U on YouTube, I don't know if you can see my cursor, and you put a dash, so it's YouTube. Now when you click that link, it takes you to a full screen with no commercials and plays the video for you.
Includes a number of keyboard options.
I don't know if that's helpful, but I use it a lot. Especially now since they played that on us. So we show some apps, we explain what augmentative and alternative communication is. I have a series of 4 workshops just on AAC if you're interested. 3 of them are on our YouTube channel. So this goes into the different types of augmentative and alternative communication, you know, pictures, letterboards, pegs, and you just hit enter or scroll through. And you can see the different low tech or light tech strategies. This takes you to MidTech. So MidTech is typically something that is battery operated, and the display is what we call static, where you have to put what you're using. You have to put the paper in and out yourself. There's a great video I have linked for our GoTalks, which is a device and now an app that has been used for a lot of years. So I've put a video in there. And then there's HighTech AAC, where we talk about dedicated devices and iPads. Again, we have videos that show the difference. Like this one will show Proloquo to go, but it'll show like how if you're looking for something, there's a folder system. So if I want a specific, say I want breakfast, I can go to food, and then it'll bring up breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner. I'll pick breakfast, and then breakfast foods will pop up and I can choose from that. Does that make sense? So I just have videos. Again, I have resources on after each section. Alternative access is just basically someone who can't use a regular mouse or regular keyboard. They might use a big keys keyboard where the keys are larger and easier to access. They might access with a switch, a joystick. This is for a head mouse. With the head mouse, you put a reflective dot. And with that dot, you look in you could use your, it uses a camera, and everywhere you look, that pointer goes. And then you set up what's called dwell. And if it sets for so many seconds, it'll automatically click. So this is a 1-button mouse. Sometimes we have kiddos that take time to get where they want, and they accidentally hit that right click button, and that's not what they wanted. So it just eliminates the right click. Different aids for daily living, like things, like I said, like you know who here. And this is a universal cuff that you can put a spoon or a toothbrush, or you could flip it around and put a pen or pencil, or anything that you needed help holding with. This is a button holder that basically helps you pull your buttons through if you don't have the dexterity. This is an easy way to adapt a doorknob. So I have a friend with cerebral palsy, and she has such hard times turning doorknobs. But if we put these on for her, she just has to press down and the door opens. So this is a watch that monitors your blood sugar. Sorry, this one is. So there's all different, different things. Again, here's resources. For hearing and vision, I just did a small amount, but there's videos for each one of them. This one takes you through different types of things that might be used for someone who's hard of hearing or hearing impaired. There's like, my favorite is the Shake Awake bed shaker. So someone who's deaf or hard of hearing might not hear an alarm. So there's a disc that you put under your pillow and it shakes you. There's also wristbands you can put on that vibrate to wake you up, things like that. Different types of phones, like this one is great. So if you're if you're hard of hearing, you can see it's visually typed out what someone's saying, things like that. And then for vision accommodations, there are so many things that could be that's a whole area, but just the different things that are out there, software, apps, handheld devices. And this is just a video of this handheld magnifier called the Amigo, just to show somebody what these things can do. This is simple. This is called a bold writer, and one of our managers she's not here anymore, but she is visually impaired, and she liked us to use these instead of Sharpies, because Sharpies have that strong smell that would give her a headache. These don't have a smell, but they still write thick. So she has a little vision. So if we needed her to sign something, we could just highlight with that bold pen and she could sign it. For kiddos that have low vision, you can go through and highlight the lines on a piece of paper so they know where to write, things like that. And then again, the resources. Whew, I'm talking fast, sorry. And then this is really important to me, so I put it at the end. So an AT evaluation should be done through the school district or another entity. I know if you work with, older folks. And it's really important during that evaluation that the person, the assessor, is going to match technology to the user by trying out different options. You can't just go, oh, you have a communication impairment here, use this. It's got to match to that user. And so the 3 steps are considering it, trying it, and implementing it. And it's really important that everyone in that child's or that person's world be trained at least a little bit on the technology they're using. Always the person who uses the technology, always the parent, and then of course, whoever's going to be in their day to help them in case you have a breakdown. And then this is just the second part of the IDEA. It's not just, it's very important, of the IDEA definition of an assistive technology service. So all of these things are right there in the law, but I do want to highlight that the evaluation and the training or technical assistance is super important to be able to implement that technology. You can't just hand somebody something and expect them to know how it works. So, and then we do a link for an evaluation, and then we do a QR code in case they want to do it from their phones. Does everyone know how to do a QR code? Or do you use QR codes? Yeah, okay. And then we give our information, our follow-up information. This is our, here, I'll copy and paste it if it'll let me escape. So that's the link to our YouTube channel, and that has all of our assistive technology videos, some of our FSS videos, but not as many. Liz and I are like pretty vigilant about putting our trainings up because we feel like it's really important for people to be able to access them because they can't always come in person. So what resources was I going to give you? Gave you the YouTube, gave you access to the newsletter. Was there one more thing?
I don't think so. Oh yeah, it was I think it was the newsletter. That was what I was reading. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and then I wanted to give you the link to our calendar. This thing is in my way. So we rotate every month which trainings that we offer. Our assistive technology ones are in pink, but anyone is always welcome to sign up for them. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me what state you're in or any of that. I just want, if people want that information, they should get it.
Yes. Thank you.
And then I sent the PowerPoints out yesterday that were updated. And I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Does anyone have any questions, any comments? This will be a PowerPoint that we'll send to you. You'll have the English and the Spanish version to utilize at your centers, so you can watch more. She's giving a link to her newsletter so we can get some tidbits and some tips from her. So just please, utilize the resource. And I see you have your hand up, so go ahead. Let me stop talking.
And this isn't specific to your presentation, but from your newsletter, do you guys have like a lab where people can come in and try out different things at task?
We did, but now we're working all virtually. And we moved buildings twice. And we went from a huge computer lab, like huge, to a much smaller space, which was just like an office. And then we moved again during this whole COVID thing. And I probably gave away 95% of my equipment. I donated it to people that needed it. I gave it to lending libraries so people could actually use it. You know, technology, as soon as you buy it, it's starting to tick down and be obsolete, right? And so sitting there for 2 years just really rubbed me. I was just like, this, somebody could be using this for communication or for whatever. So we gave a lot of it away.
I was just wondering, because I sometimes talk to people that are eager to try some of these things, and there is a process and everything, but oftentimes it doesn't move fast enough, or they're not getting a chance. And so I'm always interested in ways for people to, and also sometimes there's things that would really, really benefit someone, but they may not, they're not at the level where it would be in their IEP to have the evaluation, but it would still really benefit it. So I'm just interested. I thought that lab was super interesting. So that's why.
Yeah. So what we do now is virtual lab appointments where we can demonstrate stuff. Obviously we can't hand them through through here, try this, but we can demonstrate things and try to, talk them through. I can look at how their grasp looks, or I can look at, different things. But each state should have a center, right? We in California are super lucky because we have the AT network, or it's called Ability Tools now, where you can actually borrow different types of assistive technology for 6 weeks at a time, which is awesome. And then we also have a recycle, reuse community as well, where people do like what I did. So yeah, so check in your state and see if you have some sort of, each state should have an assistive technology lending type place, but not everything is in every library too. That's the issue. But if people have questions, I'm happy to help. I know that doesn't help your state, but or if you have questions or want to know more, please feel free to reach out. But yeah, that's the hardest part of working from home, is not being able to, because all of our trainings before, we handed everything out and let everybody play with it and try it and see how it worked. And boy, you get a lot of buy-in that way. And then one last thing, I just want to say, there's no prerequisite at all for assistive technology. There's none. So anybody with an IEP can qualify for an assistive technology evaluation. I have never in 25 years at Task met a kid that just couldn't benefit from one thing. Right? So that's just, I really truly believe that.
Anne and Pam, I saw you guys nod your head when she said that there's assistive technology centers in each state. So you guys are familiar with, is anyone else, are you familiar with where yours? Okay, I'm seeing head nods. So yes, okay.
Well, I don't know if we have a recycle reuse. That would be great. It seems like something that would go over well in Colorado, but I'm not aware of it.
For sure. I mean, you might try Googling or trying to find out. You're in Colorado. I'm trying to think.
Our AT centers through University of Colorado.
Okay. Did you guys have Roger? years ago?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay. I've been around too a long time. Um,
I know Roger was in Minnesota.
no, he was in Roger Holt. Yeah.
In Minnesota, yeah.
Oh,
He did PTAC. He was also on PTAC with us for a while,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Before he retired, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you have questions or things pop up, feel free to reach out. I don't know that I can solve. I don't know other state resources as well as California, but I'd be glad to help search. Or I'm on a bunch of different listservs where I could pose it and say, does anybody know a place in XYZ? And they're really good about coming back and giving resources.
Are there any great resources you recommend for just kind of keeping up with new developments?
In assistive technology?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do conferences each year. We've been doing them virtually now. And one of my favorites for augmentative communication, for people who have communication issues, is called AAC in the Cloud. And it's absolutely free. It's put on by a company called Cough Drop, which is an AAC vendor. Let me check my calendar. We just had it not that long ago. I want to say it's in the summer. Yeah, it was in June. But it's great because you can register, and if you can't attend live, or if you can only attend, because there's like a bunch of sessions going on, right? You can go back later and they record them all, and you can watch all of them for up to a year. Again, it's all free.
Yeah.
And then in Minnesota, they have Closing the Gap, which is a great conference. We do the virtual, or we do the online trainings. They have like a subscription where you can watch webinars. And then ATIA, which is the Assistive Technology Industry Association. They have some great, again, we're doing everything visually. Or you can come see my webinars. I try to keep up as well as I can.
Awesome.
But yeah, if you're looking for something specific, please feel free to reach out.
Anybody else have questions for Laura? Thank you, Laura. This was amazing. I love it. I love that we have the presentation that centers can use it. I love that you're open to asking questions and sharing resources. So I'm excited.
Thank
So
you.
before we leave, we have about 5 minutes. I just want to go over a few things. So next month, I sent out an email, I think earlier this week or last week, about things that are happening in September, October. So in September, we're doing our kind of discussion group around debriefing surveys and our focus group. So like I said, Quinn and I were trying to get to Philadelphia. The Rays had a summit. And so what they did was they had Missouri PTI come together, and they surveyed 621 youth. And I think it's like 150 parents. And so they have survey results of what the youth said was most impactful and least impactful in their life satisfaction as they're transitioning. So we want to share those results with you. We also did local focus groups here in Colorado. So we want to share those results with you as well, and just kind of have a discussion as with parent centers, like, what do we do with this information now that we have it? How do we move into the next years? How does that change or help parent centers? And kind of figure out what resources you would like from us as we go into year 3 to help with transition related to the survey or just in general. So it's really important for you guys to come to that and share your ideas. That would help us guide our project. Next month at our community of practice, George is going to do the voter presentation. So that'll be helpful as we're getting into voting season. So he'll go through similar to what Laura did, and just kind of how to utilize that and how you guys can adjust the different things to adjust for your states. And then Quinna I've said her name a couple times, but Quinna is the newest member to our Project Power team. And so you'll be seeing and hearing from her a lot more. She'll probably be sending out some emails and things, but right now she's been a great help in helping us start to brand Project Power in a lot of different ways. So sometimes we do PowerPoints or presentations and they're all over the place. So we'll, help with that. She's also helping us create our Project Power webpage, which will be helpful to you guys. We'll have a resource for parent centers. I know that right now at the beginning of our project, we gave you guys a Dropbox of all the resources. We're going to get rid of Dropbox. I'm going to share Google Drive with you currently, but when we get our website up, they'll be able to click the website link and get all the resources that we've been sharing in community practice. Anything related to transition, there's resources for families and youth that you guys can benefit from. So, and it'll also have our list of upcoming events and links to that. So just kind of a one-stop place where you guys can go to get all information Project Power related. I think so we also had the youth advisory community that we were trying to form. So we had the application closed July 30th. But we had about 6 youth apply. So we're going to start moving into that and getting the youth trained. If your state did not have a youth join, but you would still like to, I am very open to having that. I think we have 1 youth from Utah, 1 from Arizona, and then we have a couple of youth from Colorado. So we are still looking for youth from other states. So if you have a youth, we're open to having them on the youth advisory community. They'll start joining us in community practice meetings and start sharing their voice. And we'll also be using what they say to kind of help guide the project as well, because the goal here is to not have us tell youth what they need, is for youth to tell us what they need and provide those resources for them. So that's the goal that we're going into now that we're getting more of the youth voice and that we'll have this community. So that's kind of where we're shifting into as we walk into year 3. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys had a good summer. I'm looking forward to the next couple of months and sharing stuff with you and getting your ideas and feedback. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.